Welcome back. Enter God mode indeed. There's some of the goodlings there in the audience. So, game 3 is about to start. I'm going to get this on the way. The guys are pretty much just getting it ready as quick as they can to go into the draft, so you can tell me when it's ready.
Yep.
But of course, with competitions, just quickly, MVP of the day. There's still that competition ongoing until the finals has ended. You can win this awesome graphics card over at facebook.com/ROG Nordic. It's very powerful, very heavy, very expensive, very fast, very awesome. Next game, the game coming up.
Yeah, I think, I said this during the break to you guys, like in private, but this is a game to me where I feel like Alliance maybe have picked something that they don't play all the time. A lot of teams say that Alliance can run any strategy, which is true to an extent, but that doesn't mean that you have more experience running said strategies than others. Like for example, when they ran the Wisp and the Tree and the Sven in the first game, it felt like they were so comfortable with that there was almost no way they could lose with it. I think this time they were maybe a tiny bit caught off guard with what Cloud9 were actually doing with their Tinker, like cutting the waves so heavily, going past so far, like behind towers, inside of the base sometimes almost, and just cutting the waves so you couldn't ever apply pressure to lanes. I feel like if they pick something that they're used to, they might know how to deal with that a bit better, because they were kind of scattered a bit, I feel, and trying to look for picks, kind of panicking about the Tinker, and even though they made some really nice comeback plays, it was just too little too late.
With that said, if I'm Cloud9, even winning game 2, I gotta be a little bit worried going into game number 3, because what we gleaned from that game is Alliance was down by 15,000 gold, Iraq's for 20 minutes, and they were like a machine. They made no mistake. Like, it's scary to think that, okay, all the adversity against me, and there's just no easy victory. For the longest time I sat here, I was like, okay, so when does Cloud9 win? And then it's like, wait, Cloud9 may not win. Oh shit, Cloud9's gonna lose this. And that's the Alliance factor, I think. Like, TI3 experience in the finals, they just don't crack under pressure, and that's scary to think about.
At the same time, then you could say, like, Cloud9 will then say, well, Alliance did make mistakes, but we didn't either. Like, we didn't have the problem we had in game number 1. We didn't have the problem we might have had in the days beforehand. So you're sitting there the entire time going, hey, we didn't screw up. We had patience. We didn't lose the game. There were some moments of
they did screw up a few good times.
Envy's middle name was screw up in that game. Like, I think he played well and carried the game, but there was also a lot of questionable moments. I'll be the first to say it.
He died, what,
the other 4 players were fine. Your comment.
Yeah, pretty much. Other 4 players were pretty good.
Yeah, that's good. Why not?
Shane?
Going into the next game, I think Alliance need to go back again to what they showed in game 1, what they know, what Andy said. They can't just go try this new stuff. Go pick the Nature's Prophet, stay to what they know.
Yeah, I agree with you, Andy, as well. It's like what you said. It's like when you go late game versus Cloud9, they're quite comfortable with the late game strats as well. Like your laning phase as Alliance is really good. Your rotations is really good. You know, try and capitalize on that. Some of the things I'm noticing though with throughout the tournament, Mirana hasn't been that successful. It doesn't seem like it's that great on a one role. It really doesn't. It's like the Moonlight Shadow is fantastic in terms of forcing your opponents to spend a little bit more and get some gold, but it doesn't seem to kind of have that punch. You know, it's like, so I'm not sure if Mirana should be a picked up hero. Some other heroes I would really like to see that I think that has been neglected in a carry role is something like Void. You know, a lot of these teams right now are going for these big team fights, and that Void is just like, well, if you want to go for big team fights a lot, this is here's my Aghanims, and even if you don't have too much in your carry potential, as long as you've got some supports that can back you up, it's pretty awesome. Another hero that's done well though this tournament, Jakiro's been legit.
Yeah,
like really,
I really agree.
Like it's like no one's been getting to Jakiro very well. The ice path has been crucial because it's just like you can time it so easily. It's great for counter initiations, it's great for setups when you have the ability to combo, but also just being able to liquid fire onto towers. It's really helped every team that's had Jakiro. We've seen it with Empire, Jakiro, and DK. We've seen it here a few times with Cloud9. I think that's a hero you have to be concerned about, but it's kind of hard to want to ban. So it's probably always going to get through. So we'll see what's going to get through. We're going to go into the draft. It's game number 3 with Alliance versus Cloud9. Who's going to take the lead? Because someone has to after this game.
And into the game we go. It's going to be Alliance on the Radiant side. They will start from themselves in a familiar territory, picking up that tree. This is the hero that we banned out, or Cloud9 banned out last time. But now Cloud9's going to get themselves the Wisp. So there's none of that Cloud9, or none of the Alliance tree Wisp Nature's Prophet combo anymore.
The question is, does Cloud9 actually take the profit here? Because I still think Tree and Protector and Nature's Prophet together is still good enough to warrant picking. Sure, you might not get your hands on the Sven Wisp combo as well, But I think Alliance are so comfortable playing around those types of heroes where you can just take it a little bit easy, you take your lane advantage and you just drive it home, you know? And especially on Radiant side. It's so nice to have Tree on Radiant because the jungle is so accessible at any point in the game to stack. So keeping your towers alive becomes even better, thus Tree becomes better.
Sure.
So I feel as though like Alliance aren't too upset with that trade. Like Mirana Wisp, that's definitely a lineup that Cloud9 can fight with at any stage of the game, and yeah, they're just going to pick the Nature's Prophet, so.
There's no reason to back up from it. Like, you got Mirana and Wisp on the field. With Blink Dagger, you don't care really about the arrows. You know the living armor is always going to be there to protect you, so hey, yeah, you're good to go. And Cloud9, I'm kind of surprised to actually see them like show the Mirana this early on, because it's again, like, it's probably going to be the mid solo, it could be a safe lane hero, but are you really going to want to run a Wisp-Mirana combination as far as heroes go? It's not something you'd say. Like, it's revealing a little bit more about Cloud9's draft than I thought they'd want to during their first 2 picks.
I don't know about that though, because Mirana is a hero that even if you see it early, what is exactly your lane response? Like, what do you say, okay, well, we need to do this because the other team picked the Mirana? I think that's what the strength of the hero really offers you, and the sense too that you don't necessarily need a whole heck of a lot of farm. We saw that Loda had no farm almost in the beginning of last game, and he was still able to contribute in the early game just by being able to sync up arrows with the rest of his team. Now sure, they built around him, but that's what you do when you have Mirana. You want to get setup stuns and things like that. So I still feel like it's a really strong hero, and it doesn't give away too much of what your overall game plan is going to be.
In terms of the Wisp combos, it seems like Cloud9 don't generally go for like, for example, Wisp Tiny. They actually treat Wisp as a hero to like save allies with, or just to set up some cute ganks and whatnot. Now, in terms of one of the best combo hero there's a PA, and Eternal Envy does run it from time to time. I'm not sure whether you want to run it into a Tree and Protector, because you already need to buy a BKB. Overgrowth will lock you in that BKB should you activate in the wrong time. So there is that to be said, but you know, Wisp PA is a thing.
That's true. And it's been shown to be very potent. The question is, I think Cloud9 have done it before, right?
I'm not sure. When they pick PA, they actually don't pick Wisp.
I want to say they've actually, I know they've played PA for certain.
Yeah.
I'm just not actually entirely sure if they've ever run it mid. But I suppose we'll find out if they're going to do it this game sooner or later.
Yes, they have.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought they might have. I kind of had a hunch. Because I think Envy was one of the first ones to do it. I saw him doing it in pub matches like constantly when he was streaming a couple of weeks or maybe even months ago now, but we'll see if they want to bring it to the table here. And I like the bans coming out from Alliance. It's taking out a greedy jungler who I think is very good at stopping what Treant Armor can give you during the early game, because I mean, what's Treant Armor going to do against a full wave of conversions? Just hitting it, it's immediately gone. So it kind of supplements that 5-man push style that Tree I think is a little bit weak against during the early game. And then they take out just an overall really strong laner and initiator that can cause problems for the Nature's Prophet and anyone else really that they pick.
Yep, Shadow Demon's going to be the follow-up here. Nothing too out of the ordinary, sets up your Mirana arrows. What I am starting to concern is, where's the push coming from? I guess it's got to come from the cores, because these supports ain't pushing anything down.
These supports are there to try and find kills and find pickups, but we still don't have the hero to catch out the Nature's Prophet. Like Mr. Blink Dagger, they banned the Storm Spirit out themselves. They actually took even out the Disruptor themselves, making it very difficult for like Cloud9 to go directly up against the Prophet. So who's going to be their core that chases this down? Do we go to the Nyx Assassin to get off lane? How do they deal with Prophet as well as Tree and Protector in this one? You're being split pushed and you're being defended on tier 1 towers. So it's either force a 5-man and push it out, but it seems like the boys in Green Alliance, you grab yourself a Ravage, 5-man now with an SD as well as a Wisp is going to do very, very little. If they plan to get something like a Gyrocopter here for Cloud9, to get through at least living armor and then try and have team fight potential control, Tidehunter's going to squash that down straight away.
I think this is maybe the most defensive lineup that I've seen Alliance pick so far, at least in this tournament. So I like the lineup just because with Tidehunter, Anchor Smash, you're going to have living armor on top of that. Whoever you're trying to focus down in a fight, literally taking no damage, right? You think about that, but you also consider the fact that he's great at defending towers just because with what Cloud9 have now, maybe they can line up a kill on him with the Shadow Demon Disruption into Arrow and Wisp. But we're probably not going to see all three of those heroes together. You typically don't see a Mirana in a tri-lane too much, unless it's an aggressive tri-lane with the sole purpose of shutting down farm on a hero.
We are going to see that gyrocopter.
Yeah, sticking to their guns, man.
I like what the Tidehunter as well as Treant bring to the table, which is a lot of HP. Like, sure, I know you're going to land your disruption combo, and that's great and stuff. It feels like you almost have to throw everything on one of these tanky heroes to get the kill. With that said, a lot of this is AoE, especially when you add gyrocopter to the full. Essentially, he's like a magical carry in the early stages of this game. Call down after disruption. Also, he makes defending tower really difficult. You don't want to TP in when you know the call down's in the air because you come in and you're like half HP. So I think Cloud9, with what they have, should dominate the lane and should like start wrecking towers early. And they almost have to do that early.
Yeah, I kind of feel like, yeah, you're right, they have to. Even if they can get some like pressure on that bottom lane, make sure the Treant Protector never gets levels, maybe even get a pick off to like Disruption, Rocket Barrage, and Wisp in there with the balls. They're going to do a lot of damage down there, but at the same time, do they want to run that risk? It might make it for favorable lanes, like Mirana going up against a Tidehunter. I suppose you're not even going to get yourself a kill on that lane. Like Cloud9, if they run a safe lane Jara and an off lane Mirana, if you get something like a Rubik now coming up from Alliance, where they can get like grabs on the Mirana, or at least some high level of control with a Leech Seed, catching a halfway through a leap, you're going to get a lot of kills, a lot of momentum, push down the tier 1 towers. SD and Wisp can't do anything about it. So it's either run aggro tri-lane and try and be up in the face of Alliance, or make sure Jara can get enough farm and has enough time to get that they can keep the creep wave out the bottom lane, they don't lose too much map control for it, and then the Jara really brings something when he hits his high levels.
So the risk that you run if you aggro tri-lane on Cloud9 is I'm assuming right now that they've already picked both of their solos. So the Tidehunter and the Nature's Prophet are both going to be 1v1 heroes, right? Which means Tide is more or less going to free farm, and Nature's Prophet is more or less going to free farm. Which means that if you're aggro tri-laning, and you're letting 2 heroes on the side of Alliance free farm, you're talking about Nature's Prophet teleports in, eventually you're going to have Nature's Wrath and the threat of a TP Ravage as well. Now, they've picked up a Chen, which does show that they want to have some type of early game aggression and tower push on top of that. Depending on what Cloud9 send mid, I'm leaning maybe towards Mirana right now, just because that's what hero Sing Sing typically plays when they pick it. But I don't know. I think Alliance could definitely do well here with the style that they have right now, and I think this is total comfort zone as well.
Yeah. Man, this is the ability just to mop down towers. SD Wisp can do nothing to stop them. Flat Cannon is really, and Starfall's the only thing that could, and yeah, they banned the Pugna. That would have just been the base breaker. And if I wasn't actually listening to what Loda was saying last night, I would have been saying Luna would be a straight up pickup from Alliance, and they just force down towers. But he's not a massive fan of the hero in this current patch. And if Alliance can get themselves one person that can really just force the issue down that bottom lane, and make sure they can just go through tier 1 and tier 2 tower and hold the momentum, and then Cloud9 are in serious trouble because they will not get enough, as catching some rays on the front lines right there.
I too wear my sunglasses at night. I'm just saying.
I mean, look at how
good.
bright those lights are. You gotta.
How do you watch Dota? The question to be answered.
I think this is a fairly easy Darkseer, just to say that that's one of Bone7's better heroes. I think it works well against Treant in terms of there's a melee hero trying to zone you out, you drop double Iron Shells, and you're just like, hey man, I'm gonna sit here.
Yeah.
Also, I think Cloud9 is gonna run 2-1-2.
Okay.
No,
Ooh,
never
Invoker.
mind.
This is not something they like to do though.
Off-lane Invoker, Bone7 has done it before.
Yeah, but at the same time, like, the words of clairvoyance ring through my mind. We're not a team that likes to play Invoker. Like, they're not a fan of this one. Like, Sing Sing and Bone7, you're right, they're the two players for this one. Even Eternal Envy has played it as well. They play it when they need to, but this almost feels like they're wanting to have some extra level of aggression to go down that bottom lane to combine up with the SD.
What if they just do a 2-2-1?
Yeah.
Like 2-2-1?
What if they do Wisp Gyro top, and then Mirana
SD
Shadow
Mirana?
Demon bottom, and they just put Invoker mid?
As long as it's next to Invoker and you get like Sunstrike assistance, that may be enough.
Yeah. I mean, when I suggested 2-2-1, I thought SD Mirana was going to go mid, and you have a Darkseer in the off lane.
Yeah,
Wisp top.
I mean, that would have been really good too, but I'm thinking like the way it is now, you want to put Mirana Shadow Demon bottom because it's almost impossible to Chen gank those heroes.
Yeah.
And you could still, I think, get a decent amount of EXP, maybe a little bit of farm.
And there's that PA.
That's a little bit risky to me, man. Like, there's quite a bit of magic damage coming out from the side of Cloud9. Like, you have to worry about getting cold snapped or arrowed. Honestly, eating a single rocket barrage is terrifying for a PA, but I suppose you do have things like Nature's Prophet trees and Chen creeps to eat that damage.
I mean, there's living armor, there's a mech, there's a hand of God, so essentially there's a ton of heal.
Yeah.
I also think that, I mean, on first glance, Tidehunter forces you to get the BKB. PA doesn't care about that. So there's like a little bit of we have magical damage, we have physical damage, just a nice bit of synergy going on. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of the Loda PA here.
I think it's an okay pick just because of the tree. I think that you either need a tree or a wisp, or ideally both, I guess, if you're going to pick that hero, because she really does need the little bit of extra boost early game to feel that effective. But it's one of those heroes that can actually go for quite a few kills, even in the early game, depending on if the opportunity presents itself. So I don't think it's necessarily horrible, but I think it can be punished.
I'm a big fan of the PA just from the front line. So you can have this like stifling dagger, nice range harassment. If you have any intention of keeping an SD as well as a wisp down that bottom lane, Loda can take a lot of life points off you just from that range stifling dagger. And beyond that too, if SD's trying to come up through the tree lines looking for some smoke ganks, because Blur now also like works on any kind of invis unit that keeps in the range, it's like an early warning detection system. You know when you're about to get ganks, you're able to back yourself up. Then you got Blur on top and the living armor, as you said, all these things together, and Hand of God. There's just so much to go with, and it will be C9 trying to run an aggro tri-lane here. So they've got Pilot Eye and Aoi down here with Eternal Envy, which is going to leave Sing Sing in towards the middle lane, and Bone 7. Actually, he's still on the lane here. Looking to build phase boost and going Quas build to start with, so it looks like Quas Wex build coming out from the Invoker. Now he'll make his way up to the top lane. He's not going to stay in the lane. This will be aggro from C9.
Yeah, just back to the Invoker point, the only times I've ever seen Invoker being played by Cloud9 as a safe lane Zord Invoker, I think that was a DreamLeague game where Envy went for like Midas Medallion, something like that.
Naked Midas didn't have any regen or anything?
Yeah. And then the other times to play it, they play it Quas Wex. That's like an anti-Rave King mechanism. EMP Tornado to sap mana, but they don't play that hero often, so Bone 7 kind of piloting it in a unfamiliar territory, because he also doesn't go mid often.
I'm liking this from C9. Sorry, I mean from Alliance. Like, okay, C9 mixed up their lane, so Mirana's on top, Invoker's in mid, but Alliance like, well, okay, we see their aggro tri-lane, and we'll raise you a counter lane. Bring the Chem, bring the Treant up, try and find some openings, and force Loda into this top lane now, because he'll be able to chase down this Mirana quite nicely.
Oh.
Now, Aoi, he just showed himself there, didn't he? Oh, yeah, there's the living armor. And Arcade, the arrow will actually come in from Sing Sing, try and buy some space. And now he is back into safety again. So this dual lane from C9 up on this top lane with the SD here is going to start to get punished. And what do you get? You got a Troll Trapper at the very, very start. So the Undead Army, and they have control levels. And you get Eternal Envy going one-on-one with Admiral Bulldog on the bottom lane.
It's an incredibly good decision from Alliance, though, because if you're going aggressive, the first thing you think of is, Sing might be in trouble. He has level 1 arrow. There's no mana for Leech Seed, though, unfortunately, so not going to be able to chase. But as far as the laning phase goes, this means that Chen has a totally unblocked jungle to abuse.
Yeah.
If you look at the bottom side of the map, they use 2 sentries and 2 observers to block camps. Sure, they have vision of the bottom rune, but they've used all their wards to stop Ake from getting any creeps, and he just goes top.
And he's even able to pull creeps down for Loda. Like the Undead Army, you grab yourself the Dire Creep Wave, EGM, though, coming very close to Aoi and Pilot Eye. But they're basically to switch up their entire lane setup for this one. Now, my question is going to be, is this still going to make more favorable lanes on the off lane? Like, Eternal Envy is currently sitting at 8-for-1 up against Admiral Bulldog. He's going to have himself a really good time down here. While in middle lane, Bone 7's already at 5-for-2, up against what is now a mid-solo Tidehunter from S4, who's 3-for-3. Who really got the better trade-off here? Well, hang on, top lane, Loda. He's stunned up by the arrow at the moment with Disruption on the EGM. Trying to keep him out of the play. They're dropping down very low on both the heroes, but both are capable of surviving.
I think the biggest strength that Cloud9 have right now is that their lane bullying potential is just so much better than Alliance's. If you look at this lane, triple range, Shadow Demon, Mirana, plus a Wisp, with a PA in a tree, like the only hope that you have of making anything happen is one hero gets a little bit out of position, and Loda's going to eat another arrow, but I think he should be okay.
Living armor and Blur.
Maybe not.
Give the evasion. Poison stacks are racking up. Loda's in a lot of trouble at the moment. Another poison stack disruption. Sets up for the third one. He's too low. He won't survive this one. He turns to try and find as much damage as possible, but the first blood will go to Cloud9, with Loda dying behind his tier 1 tower in the top lane.
I really think the problem here for Alliance is that their lanes, their static lanes are quite weak.
TPs.
They're going to try to get a couple of support kills. EGM's going to surround it.
Aoi!
There's a tango. He's going to eat a dagger as well as a blink strike. I think Leech, no blink strike just yet. Leech G's going to be there, and that should be the kill. The dagger,
back off.
the second dagger, there you go. Yeah, the problem is, like, for example, if Tidehunter mid lane is not winning that 1v1 matchup, that just pressures the Alliance support. Okay, you got to help that lane. If you're not winning top lane, your support's going to help that lane. Now, I think the saving grace, the bottom lane for Admiral Bulldog, he's going to do just fine against Eternal Envy. And probably, if he plays it well, he's going to outfarm him.
It looks like they're switching
Admiral
it up.
Bulldog is getting destroyed.
Oh, wow.
It's
He's up on
21 to
top
2
now.
to 4 to 3.
Yeah.
2. Is he
43,
now
yeah.
playing support on top lane? It's like they've almost abandoned the lane and said, Loda, like, just run south. Admiral Bulldog will now take top lane. RK's moved into the Radiant jungle. You've got like Tree and Protector who's back at base, but he's also heading down south. They're switching up the lanes, and C9's moved with them.
The support's already moved. Like, they expect this transition. They're there. In fact, they're going to try to get a kill mid. Not going to happen.
It's just a hi, I'm passing through.
Yeah.
To be honest, though, Alliance are wasting a ton of time. Like, the original movement I liked because Ake was able to get a decent creep, but he's managed to unblock a handful of his camps, which is to his credit, but I don't know if you can really fight into this lane bottom because Envy is now already level 5. He can almost get
Loda has finally arrived, but he's going to get in a lot of trouble right now. If Aoi can get himself in range, and he did. Disruption's there. The rocket barrage is also available in Loda. He's actually been body blocked up by the illusions and the heroes. 2 poisons of poison, and that's now Loda's second death. He took so long to walk to that bottom lane, and the second he arrived, he gets sent back to the well.
And he doesn't even have money for a TP, so somebody's going to have to buy him one. And it looks like somebody did. It's going to be Ake, the 6th player, of course.
And you almost hope they actually purchased that one before, but it was a lot of patience from Cloud9. And Aoi, where's he going? He's instantly just saying, he's like, screw this, man. I got myself a kill here. We killed off Loda twice. We don't need to keep him shut down. Admiral Bulldog is now the next key factor for C9 to make sure he does not get an early game advantage.
He has been more or less left alone. Sure, he didn't really get any farm on his lane, but he's gotten experience, so he's halfway to level 6. I mean, it doesn't seem like a huge thing, but getting that ultimate up is going to help tremendously if you start trying to go for return kills, especially when you're looking at these really squishy supports like Wisp, Shadow Demon. Even Mirana, to an extent, suffer pretty badly when you get hit by that ulti, so it could be a potential turnaround time for Alliance, but as it stands right now, 8 CS on PA.
Yeah, I mean, not much CS on Admiral Bulldog either. I mean, that's just your 2 core. S4 is kind of on him, like you said, but also, sure, you could win one fight with the Ravage, and then what? Like, it's a long cooldown, so I'm quite worried about Alliance. Well, the supports
They're coming up. They're coming up. There's a smoked Aoi right now on the top lane, but S4 is going to move up and then break it out. He sees him. Triggers the haste rune. Disruption will go, trying to buy in the extra space. The arrow will actually also connect, and S4, he's locked here for a while. He turned for a poison sack. But yeah, he will bail himself out this one. S4, how far does he commit? Does he run north? He guesses right. Meanwhile, Chen's actually going to go down to the Wisp. And PA is also having a lot of trouble. Eternal Envy with the rocket barrage. Loda and 130 life points. The Prophet Oldie will back him up for the moment. While up on top lane, the Mirana has gone down finally. S4 committed all the way in. Bone 7 will TP up for this one. But S4 didn't have to commit up the Ravage. And we end up getting trade-offs.
That's the key thing. They were able to get a core kill without using the Ravage, so he could still be a menace, and he will continue to be a menace until that Ravage is spent. Also, nobody's farming mid right now for Alliance, and I think S4 is going to fix that very quickly.
Pilot is farming it for C9. Give this Wisp some levels. Maybe finally he can purchase up a bottle of his own.
I don't know, this game's really interesting because Alliance have been moving so
middle
much.
lane,
Teleport.
Pilot.
Wow, solo kill.
Gush to Anchor Smash with an Anchor Smash up at level 4. A Wisp can't survive that one. Meanwhile, Jaro's also picked up a double damage rune on the bottom lane. Envy waited until his bottle arrived so he can spam out everything he had to get it full, so they're ready to fight in this bottom lane. And EGM's the first one to be spotted. This time, though, they don't have the Wisp bonus.
Haven't seen him. There's a disruption. It's going to be an easy call down on top, and there you go. One right click. Living Marmor's going to block a little bit. Envy's going to try to go on Ake.
DD
no boots? Oh, he backs up.
There's support coming. S4's rotating his way in right now. Now, Nature's Prophet's also died in the top lane in the meantime, but they Spectral dagger himself in. S4 actually goes down without triggering the Ravage. Ali will TP himself away to safety, and Loda has got nothing to come into this with.
Shoot arrow, hit arrow, courtesy of Sing Sing. Stopping Ravages since DreamHack 2014. I think like the early game, though, couldn't really be going any better for Cloud9. Like, yeah, they gave away a kill, I think, on Pylai Die, and Sing has died one time, but they're forcing so much movement out of Alliance while still having relatively static lanes and still getting kills. So the only ones who are really moving that much on the side of Cloud9 are their supports, which is fine. It's not really that big of a deal to them because Envy is still continuing to just be monstrously farmed right now. 49 CS at under 8 minutes and 3 kills.
Yeah.
Also, the difference is every time that the Cloud9 support moves, they get a kill, whereas Alliance is moving around trying to prevent kills or make the lanes a little bit stronger. I think if S4 hasn't got so many kills for the team, they would have been in huge trouble. But S4 is still playing extremely well, hasn't spent that Ravage yet. Let's see if he forces a kill and maybe even a tower push. I think that's what they need to come back in this early game deficit.
And they'll need something, I think, maybe even a little bit bigger than that, but because right now I'm also seeing an Invoker who's like getting closer and closer towards that Orchid. That's what he's rushing as opposed to going in for the Hand of Midas. So there's more control coming out. Arrows or not, you're going to get silence, you're going to get control completely. And Gyro, there's just, like, look at Loda. Like, he's stifling daggering to farm. And that's all he can do on this bottom lane, because if he comes in close and the SD is even remotely there, like Wisp with Relocate could even drag in the SD to be part of that engagement. So Disruption, Catcher, Purge. You don't have Purge actually just yet on Now 2000, but he's actually prepping stacks now for Eternal Envy. And that's a triple stack on Ancients, more money being just funneled into this Gyrocopter.
I think Alliance, I mean, you don't really ever want to count them out just because of the fact that they're Alliance and they always manage to win fights from some ridiculous deficit. Bottom lane, Loda's going to be taking some damage here. We'll be able to blink strike back to his friend
teammate.
EGM, yeah. So my thoughts are that Cloud9 can continually apply pressure with this lineup, and the nice thing about having an Colossal X Invoker is that he actually will TP to fights.
Yeah.
And against Tree and Chen and Tidehunter, like if you don't have a minimum of 2 pairs of Arcane Boots on your team, you're just not going to have a great time when it comes to your mana pool. And PA is also the absolute worst int gain in the game, tied with Troll Warlord. So EMP is especially effective against him. TP bottom.
Disruption on bottom lane. Yeah, S4's coming in. He's going to have to actually slow the stun out. The Ravage had to be committed, but that's the first Ravage, and it kills off an SD. That's what their commitment's worthwhile.
Relocate.
And now Relocate, we're going, I think, top lane. Admiral Bulldog, actually, well, the arrow is still available for Sing Sing, and EMP Tornado, just the Tornado so far, and Loda, Cole snapped up Sing Sing. He's still got this arrow available, but the Relocate's going to wear off in 1 second time. It'll take Sing Sing out of this fight. They'll head themselves back towards the middle lane.
Spending the first Ravage on a support kill isn't the biggest deal in the sense that what is Cloud9 going to do? Push your tier 1 towers? They really don't have any good pushing. You don't have an Exort Invoker with double Forge Spirit.
At the same time, like, they don't have to worry about that. They just keep farming up. Like, even the fact that Loda came to the top lane, you had Loda and True Protector get on top lane. Envy got even more space in the bottom lane to farm up. I don't think they even care about towers. They've got Roshan. They got team fight.
I think they were going to farm him regardless of what Alliance is going to do, Ravage or not. Like, the whole thing is just about farming. Envy's been doing a good job in zoning out the PA. Whenever I looked at the bottom lane, like, PA is just eating a nuke. And it doesn't matter if you have living armor or not. Like, it's just tough to stay in that lane.
Yeah, he can't do much more. Skeleton Minion's going to scout out the fact there is a triple stack right now. And it may have actually screwed up the timing here of Owie. Nah, he's got this one again. That's now another stack coming in, and more money, more money, more money. Are they grouping up for Smoke, eh? Yeah, Alliance are coming up. They got Smoke over on actually 2 of the heroes, both EGM as well as Arcade. And they're going to try and come up, and then maybe they can get a kill on Sing Sing. Either that, they head north, and they try and catch out Bone 7. Both are very difficult targets.
Yeah, Bone 7, I think, is maybe the hardest hero to kill on the team. He throws out 1 tornado. If you're not perfectly positioned, it's going to totally stop any momentum you had. And then you have to worry about chasing after an EMP.
Oh, Pilot Eye. He's the one that get hoof stopped right now. They need some follow-up damage. Stifling Dagger. He's going to tether himself away to the creep wave. Prophet only will bounce through, so they get themselves the kill from this. Courier also very, very low, but it couldn't be finished off. Now the EMP Tornado right on top of Loda. He actually can't Phantom Strike. He already used it. He's bone dry of mana. There's 5-6 charges available. There's only 1 hero going down while Envy's doing the stack. He doesn't want to come to this middle lane just yet, but he might be forced to.
There's like a 5-man fight mid, and Cloud9 says, like, yeah, Envy, we're good here. You can take the Ancient stack. We're going to defend this T1. Don't worry about it. And I think that's a problem for Alliance. Like, they have to spend a Ravage. They have to win a fight huge.
And he got a regen rune to him, Envy, after all the damage he took.
Okay,
That's just insulting.
Okay. Envy has a Demon Edge.
Is he just rushing straight Monkey King Bar to go at the PA?
I guess. I mean, he has 700 HP, but if you get disrupted defensively or something like that, and you have a Wisp with Overcharge.
Oh, tied. Arrow gonna fly out. The creep wave will tank it up, but Cold Snap, EMP Tornado, the whole thing being used. But the Tide is very, very tanky. You just like shrug it off with the Kraken.
I mean, this is a high-risk, high-reward build for Envy. That's the one thing that's really important to note. Because if you have 800 health and no BKB, you will go splat.
It's just more pressure on Pilot Eye, I think, more than anything else. Like, if he can keep him up, he's all good to go. And look at him now, they're realizing what's going on. They're going to finally ward up the ancient area, but there was a dire observer ward that saw RK's movement. So they're going to know what the hell's going on now. And Envy, it's like he wants to chase down into this. He knows his damage output is more than what any hero on Alliance can handle right now.
I think to a certain extent, even though he warded that camp off, the damage already been done.
He's going for it. Slow first on Admiral Bulldog, turns on the flat cannon, but Smoke didn't start with a rocket or something from inside the tree line.
I don't know. I don't think it really would have mattered either way because he would have. No, he had one tango left. Never mind. He would have been able to get the Sprout.
Yeah.
All right, so maybe he just didn't feel like forcing it right next to a tier 1. I mean, there's always a danger that you're going to get a TP reaction, and there is a blink on the tide, so we can actually TP very, very far in the tree line, and you won't be able to see him coming. So I definitely understand the want to not actually dive him there. And Alliance, I mean, the kill score is not really that far apart, but if you look at the way they've been playing, it's definitely been on the back foot, more or less. The one thing that Cloud9 have to be wary of, though, as the later the game goes, sure, you have a Wisp to counter what Bulldog can do, but it's not just about Bulldog.
This defensive, actually an aggressive disruption and Tide. Blink Dagger, first shown on the map. The property will bounce through and Pylai die. He actually point blank drags him back. 20 life points. It will not be enough, however. Tree will get the kill. Now an ulti up as well. EGM, he's in trouble. They actually pop up the dust. They can keep seeing Cloud9. S4 remaining on the front lines, but in comes Eternal Envy. The cooldown's available. 2 support heroes. Actually, it's Admiral Bulldog and RK. They run north with the Blink Dagger away with Loader. Rocket will hold S4 there, but C9, they've only got 3 heroes up, and there's no way they want to cross the river in this state.
What a save by Pylai Dai.
He didn't save him.
No, he didn't. He didn't keep him
like
alive.
1 foot backwards, and he died anyway.
No, Shadow didn't die.
EMP Tornado right now is on top of Loader. Blinks himself away, though, and the Hand of God being used. Doesn't lose any mana, but S4's in trouble, running himself down the river. Sing Sing already used the arrow. The Rocket's right behind him, however, so S4 will get stunned here, but Sing Sing's lost so much damage, and now they're trying to get rid of the Rocket, and they're going to be successful. Team support comes in, Rocket Barrage on top of Admiral Bulldog, but because the Rocket was taken out, they don't have the opening they were searching for, which is over on S4. And that relocate, it went from here to here. That was the travel distance.
And the Leaf Seed killed him as soon as he got there.
I thought he actually got out of there. But
yeah, it wasn't the best relocate, but maybe he just thought that the Leaf Seed was going to tick off, or he might have lived through it or something like that. I don't know. But it's actually harder to relocate back into the base and do it like that quickly than it is to just click on the minimap and be like, okay, I want to get you at least over here. You know, you can do it much quicker.
Top lane, they're having to crank up Pylai Dai.
That pick.
A little bit of resemblance to yesterday, and Alliance is alive and kicking because they are getting picks after picks after picks.
And Bulldog's getting close to his Blink Dagger, man.
Yep.
That's when the relocate actually becomes useless once he has a blink. Because you will not be able to chase him unless you know exactly where he blinks. You use the Spirits for Vision, and you line up like an arrow while he's TPing. I mean, that's pretty much the best case scenario.
Envy's got to be very careful. No, he cuts off the creep wave. He TP's out, and can he get the tower glass?
Sing!
He's going for the tower kill, but
make a decision.
Living Armor is actually picking him back up.
Loader or tower? Loader or tower, Sing. You can't have both. And he's waited too long. Prophet's about to TP in right now, and RK is going to loop himself around. Leap is still available, and in comes Pylai Dai, just in cases.
MKB finish on Envy throughout all of this.
They're flagging the DD rune on the bottom river. RK's got to deny this one, but Sing Sing's going to be able to pick it up. That's a full bottle charge back up again, too.
I don't know, man. This is such a high-risk item choice from Envy. 815 health with no BKB.
You got to have some faith, Rascal.
I mean, he obviously has faith, otherwise he would not have bought the item. So far be it from me to question, and I'm just like, I'm nervous for the item, you know? I don't think it's bad, I'm just nervous.
Well, here's the thing. It's so easy for TIE Hunter to blink in and just ravage and be
and
like,
then
yep.
he instantly dies?
Yeah, I know you have a 5K item and you're dead. What about it? So what's the mindset behind that kind of item choice?
I mean, I guess you're assuming that with the Quad-Swex Invoker, you're always going to be leading off fights more often than not with the Tornado EMP. And after the fact, you should always know where you need to be standing to prevent yourself from getting ravaged, right? Or at the very least, if the ravage does come, it's a counter initiation, and you might not be in a position where the opposition can follow it up.
Yep.
So
Alliance RD for kills again.
That's how I think of it. And there is actually an Orchid up on Bone 7, and he is very, very scary right now.
Looks like they're going to run into Pylai Dai. If he senses any trouble, he'll just tether away.
Nature's guys right now is actually protecting the tree. Protector and S4.
Tether away.
There's the
out
gush.
of there.
Yep. Spirits are up, and there's no follow-through. The blink was already used from Tanan to initiate there. And the pings are actually coming out for bottom lane. Because you get the Moonlight Shadow also triggered off here by the Mirana.
Oh, they see Prophet. This should be a very easy kill.
Bomb.
There you go. Everything dropped on Emerald Bulldog. The relocate back in. You sure you want a TP in there? Their TP gets canceled. That means tier 1 tower is going to be Cloud9.
Yeah. There's no living armor that's going to be able to stop that one, and the fortification was down too.
The nice thing about that relocate is that they will be able to actually do something with the other lanes while their top lane is being pushed. So in addition to getting a tower, they're also applying pressure to tier 1 mid. It's not just trading a tower for a tower plus a hero kill, it's potentially even getting more, but S4 will eventually make his way back towards mid to stop this gank.
And then again, that may not be the best thing for him, because look at the gank train coming out from C9. They want this tower down. They've still got the DD rune there.
Die.
Yep, up on top lane. The Whisper's in trouble, but there's more TP support coming in. This time it's Aoi. They can't see EGM, but with the spirits hitting him, you know where he is. There's a sentry ward here for Aoi. He does throw it down, and they're running in closer. EGM, Cold Snap will go on him. Tornado just having a guess, trying to weigh out the time, but now in comes Loda. He's looking for Bone 7. Defensive disruption. The arrow connects on Loda, but the Ravage from S4 with the anchor smash. He takes out 2. And Alliance to look towards that tier 2 tower, but then again, maybe not. Pilot Eye Spirits are adding a little bit of a buffer here for Cloud9, and Sing Sing, he's searching for that arrow again. 1 second off cooldown, flies up, it's gonna connect, or is it? They back off. Admiral Bulldog, the arrow force just short of him. And Alliance get away with murder.
The key factor in that fight was Alliance getting 2 kills, forcing out a buyback on Bone 7. He bought back, cancel his TP, and that really will stun his item growth, especially if Alliances keep on protecting all of these other towers. I think it's going to be Roshan time for Cloud9 though, and it's very hard to stop it without overgrowth.
Eternal Envy's now just picked up a Mithril Hammer as well. He refuses to go strength. This career should turn around. I don't think he realized it hasn't delivered. Either that or he's just trying to keep a secret, or he just wants to keep the slot for the Aegis of the Immortal.
Well, he has a Quelling Blade, so, I mean, he definitely can sell that for a slot.
At the same time, I think Envy will be one of those guys that will prioritize a Quelling Blade because of Sprout over actually having the rest of it. Now,
relocate.
Yep.
On middle lane, they get EGM. They should be able to secure Roshan for free. They are trading the top tier 2 for this, though. So
and maybe even damage the tier 3. Alliance are ready to go high ground. They've still got the Ursa and the Undead Army is summoned up. They've got 6 skeletons to find from up on this top lane. And Aoi, like poised to push him back. And Roshan's taking time. 2,100 life points. Envy's low. So is Pilot Eye. Sing Sing has to tank for a little bit here.
Yeah, with the Invoker coming in, they could just kind of clear up the creep wave very easily. Envy's going to get the Aegis.
Yep. I'm still watching that Mithril Hammer just fly right past him.
I think a Mithril Hammer is actually more damage than you get from a Quelling Blade at this point, because the range Quelling Blade bonus is only 12%.
He wants it for
for Fury,
for the Sprout, that's it.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
But
It's like, do you justify the bottle?
Is it really that useful for him?
No, I don't think so. Actually, the Mithril Hammer is more useful than having an empty bottle right now when you're also walking around with an Aegis of the Immortal. But he might be trying to keep it all secret and say, I don't really have that much money, guys. Don't attack me. I've been shut down. Believe me, I'm not sitting at like 11,000 net worth.
It's 4-0-1 with like 115 CS. It's like
maybe he's just trying to bluff, man. Are you poker?
I don't know, man. I mean, Cloud9 are definitely in a good spot, and I think having the Aegis on Envy right now is actually more beneficial than most Aegis timings, just because he's actually going for an incredibly greedy build, and eventually it will level off. Like the normal progression that you see is the BKB into MKB.
Which is already there. That's 21 minutes, 28 seconds.
But he's farmed it so much faster than normal just because he went for an item build that was only related to damage. And he's also been involved in quite a few kills plus the Roshan. So Cloud9 in a really solid spot, and with his BKB pickup, I think they can start taking fights anytime they want.
Yeah. You ask yourself the question too, like when does Lotus start getting his damage items? Does he even need it with like the coup de grace? Because you've got like Helm of the Dominator, Ring of Aquila, and PMS with Treads and Wand. That's all you have coming out right now from Alliance's core hero. The guy who got no farm is sitting at like the 6th position of net worth. It's not a great game for him right now.
I'm completely surprised about his item choice of going Helm because, well, talk about that later. Fight might break out right now. It's going to be Envy. He's going to have to pop his BKB. Is he popping it? Not just yet. Finally, BKB comes out. No overgrowth just yet. Call down will hit on one. That's it. Envy's kind of locked in there. BKB's just getting out, but here comes EMP Tornado hitting on everybody. It's sent back. It's going to be on Lotus, so he's going to be fine. Are they going to get Ake?
And S4 still got Ravage if he wants to try and make some space to save his teammate, but He just accepts the fact that RK has to die for this. He doesn't want to trigger off the Ravage, and now Loda's come back in again, Parnay's in the tree line, and Bonesever's looking for another opening. He blinks himself down and away towards that Invis Tidehunter, and the rocket will connect on Loda. Living Armor is protecting him, and now your Ravage will go. Catching Sing Sing on the back lines too. They've brought down the Wisp, S4 still on the front lines, Anchor Smash, Eternal Envy, the BKB still on cooldown, but he's got Aegis the Immortal. He doesn't really care right now if Alliance want to keep throwing stuff at him. He'll take it up. Okay, that much stuff, maybe he'll care. Now, do they try and turn around? Aramana's back off cooldown. There's a big army of trees coming in. Well done, that's Noga. Eternal Envy, there's the Tornado. Turns in for the call down. Flat cannons on with the Rocket Barrage. EGM gets wiped at the moment, and they're going in deeper. S4 Anchor Smash, but Eternal Envy still behind them. Sing Sing, no mana. There's lightning bounce damage. Envy, he's just so low. Alliance bring him down. A minute on the sidelines, and they're looking to chase down Owie. Admiral Bulldog TPing in front. He'll get the vision. Where's the stun? There's nothing. Yeah. Walk to the high ground and TP'd out perfectly.
I think the place that they kill Envy really put C9 in a bad position. Like, if you bail on your carry, he dies. And they took a spot where it was so easy for Alliance to keep on TPing to that tier 2 tower that Alliance would have just won it.
Yeah,
they won it quite easily.
It's still pretty early on in the game, so I agree with Lumi. Like, taking those fights is so risky because you're always going to have heroes who are going to be respawning like almost immediately. And Tornado's going to miss your middle lane on Loda. He will still pop the Orchid, but it's not really going to do a whole heck of a lot.
And they're losing on the trade, man. Alliance taking tier 1 tower.
Yeah, but you also have to mention the gem was actually lost by Alliance there. EGM's gem is now owned by Mirana, which is still, I think, a pretty good trade. Like, sure, you lost your carry, but Owie had absolutely no mana after the Aegis was popped. There was like nothing they could do for him aside from the one Tornado that Bone7 threw out. All in all, I don't think it was too terrible for Cloud9, but I think that Alliance is starting to feel more and more comfortable after what I would call a pretty subpar laning phase.
Man, they're going to feel even more comfortable when Admiral Bulldog finally finishes that side device. He's got Ultimate Orb as well as his Void Stone already, so he's keeping these lanes pretty much spammed out. His net worth's really just shot up here. And with the Shiva's Guard soon to be completed over on S4, Comfort Zone Central. And as you look at Sing Sing, Mr. MKB Builder, he's 2,000 gold away from having this, so both C9 damage dealers will still be able to attack Loda directly, but I don't even feel like he's the problem anymore. Like, if he coup de grace, then hey, that's great for Alliance, but the Tidehunter as well as Nature's Prophet are the ones causing the problems for C9 right now.
Well, the problem with Loda is that he is commanding so much respect, because every time that fight happens, they go for Loda. But Loda, first, he's very tanky with the blur. He's tanky with the helm. And also, he blinks around, so it seems like Cloud9 almost is spending too much resource getting that kill.
They saw him go on the tree line. The arrow's coming up, trying to hit him as well, but S4 just backs up a little bit further. There's no vision for that. He just backed up after realizing no one was there.
Loda's damage output right now isn't too big of an issue, but in about 10 minutes, he will be. So I see where Cloud9 is coming from, going for that kill. But right now, I think it's actually safe to ignore Loda for most of the fight and just perhaps pick off Chen, for example, pick off the Prophet, etc., etc.
The thing is, though, if he gets like one or two good coup de grace on the supports, they will die.
Yeah.
There's nothing that's actually going to be able to save him from that. And because of the fact that he's going first side in BKB, outside of the Demonic Purge, there's no real way to stop him from focusing a target. And to be honest, you probably don't even want to purge him because he can just blink on somebody and it's only on a 5-second cooldown.
That's if he gets scooped to grow, right? Like, if not, he's hitting like a kitten.
Right. Otherwise, it is a kitten. But, I mean, you have to assume you're getting at least one.
EMP Tornado right now on the bottom lane. He's trying to drain out S4 and is able to do so. 225, there's only 4 Magic Wand charges.
Relocate.
The tower is actually denied as well on Relocate. Well, it's coming down. They search for an opening. Envy's already put the BKB, but he's locked in position for a moment. But he's looking for EGM. Dust will pop off. The rockets are coming in too, but RK, he's already used the Hand of God as well. So Meg, look at the call down. They turn around, Loda comes in, the Ravage into the Gyrocopter. He drops so quickly, and they're looking for more. They're looking to try and chase up Stifling Dagger. Even gets a coup de grace hit for 315 damage onto Owie and Prophet. TP's in. Defensive Disruption. EMP's going to burn them off again. As now Alliance, they're going to be bone dry, but they're getting more kills. The bouncing Maelstrom damage gives Admiral Bulldog a kill on Nature's Prophet. Another Stifling Dagger to Sing Sing. But Alliance have what they want now. Momentum to push to the tier 2 tower.
Every time that Envy gets relocated in, he doesn't have any way to lock them down. So he's just kind of sitting there, running his BKB charge stride. He either needs a Mantis Sound to get over that overgrowth, or he needs his teammates to actually land an arrow, or for Bone7 to do any kind of disruption.
Look at the line they're drawing.
The thing is,
it's like the same loop around the back of them with the smoke, and then we'll be ready to fight at 17 seconds.
I think that relocate and decision to run into them was just really questionable because your team was so far away that you, like,
Or
what
pick off.
S4 did is he blinks right between.
Admiral Bulldog, Cold Snap, Orchid. He can't blink yet. 2 seconds. He's hiding in the tree line. They need a little bit more. Sing Sing comes in. The arrow will connect. Admiral Bulldog's locked here. They have the observer wall that's watching for it. Tornado will catch out 2 heroes. But now Wisp relocate. They bring in Envy, but he's stuck up on the high ground. But it still means to kill off Admiral Bulldog, and they cannot follow all the way into Arcade. But the spirit damage from Twilight Day will be enough to help get the kill there. So 2 heroes, they were looking for the pickoff, and they're going in deeper. Look at that Ghost Walk movement speed. EGM again, Orchid it up. The arrow flies in. This time it will dodge out. But it's still 3 heroes killed by C9, 2 of them in the hands of Sing Sing.
By the way, the one who died in the river actually died from flat cannon.
Yes.
He just got hit from downtown.
Yeah.
So I think it was Ake, right? Yeah, he was one who died inside of the river. So there's actually going to be 3 MKBs up soon on Cloud9, as Invoker is buying one too, which I think is really solid. The thing is, Invoker is a really weird hero to build attack damage on, because normally when you build phase and things like that, you're kind of lacking attack speed.
S4.
Oh boy.
Like when you got moments like this and you can attack directly, if you had the extra damage, maybe you could find kills. It's just a different style of Hunter.
Yeah, I just feel as though right now Cloud9 and Alliance both have the capability of snowballing so hard. It just depends on the next couple of engagements. But with having a Shivas on S4 and there only being 1 BKB so far on the side of Cloud9, I would actually say that Alliance have a pretty significant teamfight advantage, unless something really bad happens, like an initiation where maybe S4 doesn't get to use his ulti somehow. I'm not sure if that can happen, but I think that's one of the ways that Cloud9 would actually be able to take something big away from Alliance.
Well, there will be a next moment coming up soon for C9. Roshan's going to spawn up in just 30 seconds time from now. So there will be another moment where basically Alliance and C9 will have to decide. How important is that Aegis moment? Look at the Invoker's moving on haste right now. Doesn't have a haste stream, just moving on haste. Searching for an opening, searching for someone that's farming up Ancient, so he just get a quick pick off and move into something more. While it bought time for Monkey King Bar to be finished over on Sing Sing. And soon the poison will probably be scouted out, like they use it to scout out Roshan. 4 seconds and the big man's up. While up on top lane, Prophet and S4, they're both waiting to blink in, because we've basically got Blink Shivas and Blink Scythe coming out from both these guys. And Bone 7's going to be the first one up. It's like they're using S4 as bait, but Admiral Bulldog, he just uses Blink. Bone 7 saw him for a moment because of the Ghost Walk feat, but Alliance brought the rest of their support north as well. Invis room for Loader, so he goes on his scouting mission. Invis and Smoke together.
I think with the BKB on Loda, they can actually just go, more or less. I mean, sure, Cloud9 are still kind of scary to fight into, but really all their damage so far, I guess there are 2 MKBs. Maybe Loda would be a little bit shy about jumping into something like that, just because he only has 1400 HP. But there is Mech, Hand of God, Tree Armor, etc. And if you're not actually getting your Tree Armor eaten by Rocket Barrage...
Well, here's the thing, though. Like, if Loda BKB and jumps in, and Bone 7 could isolate the rest of the team with the EMP Tornado, that's where it kind of gets tricky for him, because he's kind of blinked in there, taking MKB hits.
I'm just kind of feeling like, well, now that Manta's up on Gyro, that's actually a big deal.
Bone 7 found one. He found S4, but there's no one near him to help out.
They can't do anything about S4. He just had way too much HP.
Even a 4-staff now over on the Chen. Get him out to safety.
And they are
going to force it. They're going to force the fight. They don't want to see another split push him or farm him out. Even though Gyro is doing exactly that right now in the bottom lane. He's keeping back. They're coming back to fight right now. And you've already got EGM a long way up. The sentry wards are down, so they can see the Invoker when he comes in close. And then he found one. Admiral Bulldog has. He found Pylite Die a little bit further up. The arrow will fly, but it won't be able to connect. And actually he gets a defensive disruption and tether reposition away. Prophet Ulti will bounce through. Wrath of Nature gets the kill.
Nice micro, giving the creeps sight. Giving sight from the creeps, excuse me. And they're going to get that tower. I don't think Cloud9 should fight for this. Your Wisp is down.
They get a good arrow maybe, but they're not even going to get that. So yeah, tier 2 tower and Wisp lost. And they got Alliance to forcing it further. Like they didn't do anything for that. No ultis were used for the killing of this one. And now,
the crits!
Gyro just disintegrates in front of Alliance, and they come in for Owie. They got him as well. 3 heroes down. Sing Sing's arrow just gets mopped up by the BKB of Loda, and Sing Sing siphoning Dang it up. But Alliance came here for objective-based game, and they won the tower, but EMP Tornado is going to make this very difficult for them. They're basically out of mana again, but Sing Sing, coup de grace on just the dagger. That's not even the real Loda moving in just yet. Bone 7 chasing down top of S4. He's low on life, so he is backing up. And Alliance, they want to finish this tower. Deafening Blast, Bone 7's throwing whatever he's got from range to push back Alliance. And they may be successful, but Loader, Living Armor, Leech Seed, he's coming back up again with the helmet of the Dominator. Prophet already bounces through again. They're looking for the opening, and already Pilot has to use the mech. Coup de grace, looking for it, can't get it, but he doesn't even need it. Pilot die. One last attack from Bulldog, not missing up the hill. And again, the Whispers on the sidelines. Arrow again with a Tornado. RK, an inch away from it connecting. But even then, I don't think a C9 have anything they could do to follow up. They got no one left alive. And Admiral Bulldog starts a split push again.
With nothing to follow up, I totally agree, but we have to also consider that if Bone 7 was not a Quas-Wex Invoker,
they would have lost the Rex.
They would have, that Rex would have been dead because he hit, I think, what, 3 or 4 with Tornado EMP?
And then Deafening Blast. It was just a non-stop spell usage.
Yeah.
For any other hero, they would have just lost the Rex right there. So pretty well played by Bone 7. Pilot die though, a bit out of position going in.
Not respecting the Blink Hex, man.
I mean, if you look at the Shiva card, something that you brought up earlier, with 4 non-BKB heroes, essentially a mini Ravage, especially on the supports, because you just move so slowly, you're stuck there, and then it's easy for PA to come in and get the kill on you. Also, in that previous fight where S4 just made the jump to actually get Envy, if he popped the BKB there, would have just won the fight for them. Didn't, lost the fight. It's just so hard to time it properly and make the correct play.
If you blink point blank as Tide, it's actually insanely hard to BKB it.
You have to like expect it to come.
Yeah. So, I mean, granted, Cloud9 defend their base. They didn't even lose their tier 3. It's still a lot of damage was dealt there, right? Like, you get enemy off the map for quite some time. You give away a handful more kills. And you don't really have any map control to speak of right now. Most of the lanes are pushed in favor of Alliance. So, more or less, they're definitely in control. And this is a team who also, again, it seems like not that long ago, but they had probably one of the worst laning phases, I think, that they possibly could have had in terms of who is getting farmed. Because PA almost got nothing. Bulldog almost got nothing. He actually had to leave his lane and then leave his lane again. So the fact that they're even in this position to begin with is just kind of shocking.
I think the reason that for that happening is the 2 fights that Envy got after he took his BKB went pretty poorly. When you buy a BKB, you take fights. So they did, but they lost those fights. If he got 4K go into another damage item and farm with it, I think their goal advantage would have been stretched more. So they need to continue to find fights and win them, which it's hard to actually do it against a Tide with Shiva's Ravage as well as the tree. This is somewhat what we expected coming out of the drafting stage though. Like you have to blow so much to get a single kill on all of these heroes.
Well, C9 just blew a smoke, couldn't find anyone inside the Radiant jungle, and again, like they saw the trees scouting out for him, so they can't just jump in and take Roshan either, because it's all being watched. It's all being watched at the moment.
I think we are starting to approach the stage where Loda is getting out of control, because Basher just got picked up, so BKB isn't even like a for sure save anymore. Eventually,
the lane, they found EGM, the arrows are flying out. He's going to pop off from the Orchid, even just that alone would be enough. Didn't even require the arrow to connect. And with Tree down, maybe C9 feel they can just jump in, quickly take Roshan. Buff up Alacrity, just look at the tail Envy go, beat the crap out of him. The Tree's going to be in there, but right now C9 know it's bloody obvious they go in for Roshan anyway. And, okay, S4 just pushes out the lane.
But he actually DD'd early. Maybe he's just missing some HP. I don't know. Typically, you don't want to DD before you BKB, so I don't know. I thought they might try to fight this just because of the rune, but he doesn't have a bottle or anything, so I guess he really didn't have a choice in the matter.
Oh, Arrow will at least get rid of this Wild Wing. I'm not sure about this from C9 now. Tree's coming back up again. S4 jumps in, but he only hit on 1. And now Relocate Savior. It pulls him back up to the high ground. Not too far away, which means now C9, they go back into the engagement. Loader blinks up to the support of RK. He's got double Centaurs here to buy some space, but the call down, that's going to be the death. Not even RK. He 4-stars down. Wolf stomps onto Eternal Envy, locking him in position. The BKB never went. The arrow was soaked up by a melee creep. Meanwhile, up on top lane, the tower's being pushed down, and Admiral Bulldog, he's playing the ultimate rat. He needs to TP away though. Sing Sing holding his tail. The arrow's there. He hexes him up, and they want to keep going in for this one. Spirits look for Bulldog. He's into the tree line. They need to have a guess for the arrow, and it won't happen. He's away to safety.
What an outmaneuver by Alliance,
and
man.
they're going back for the Roshan pip, and I know Tornado will catch him all flank. Do that. Well, what a Sprout blocking a lot of the path. I'm not sure whether they have enough to actually go into this.
I was looking for vision too. Envy, flat cannon turned on. EGM, he's dead straight away. But look at Tidehunter. He's trying to battle up against the BKB Eternal Envy, but he hasn't even triggered that one yet. Call down a little bit too late. S4's able to get some range. Low to Stifling Dagger. Now the Ice Wall. What a perfect target for it. Almost using it like an ice path. Giving Eternal Envy a double kill, and Roshan 4.5k life points, but again Admiral Bulldog adding pressure towards top lane and forcing at least Bone 7 to come back.
I think this is going to be the Aegis for
It should be now.
Yeah.
I don't think Alliance have anything else to throw, man.
I think it was a really next level play to Alliance outmaneuvering Cloud9 like that to get to Roshan, but the problem is they didn't have Ravage. So they actually couldn't take the secondary fight after the initial one where they actually baited Cloud9 to go back to their base.
Yeah.
So a good idea, but maybe if you had a refresher, it would have worked out a little bit better. Or heck, if you had a refresher, you probably wouldn't have needed the second fight, I guess.
If they had more damage on the Roshan, if they could kind of snipe it.
Yeah.
But highlight that on top of it when the defensive relocate. So Envy didn't even have the BKB to block the Ravage.
It was really weird though, because when he got a lacquer to use on him, he like glowed. That was actually kind of weird looking. But he's actually going for what looks like to be a Satanic, so he's not too far off. And once he gets that, suddenly killing him inside of a Ravage seems a lot less likely until that PA picks up an Abyssal Blade.
Well, if PA gets 2 crits in a row,
Yeah, but I mean,
anything's possible.
if you turn into RNGesus, then yeah, you might be able to.
At the same time, though, Envy's going to be sitting there going, well, I've still got Mantra, I've still got Aegis the Immortal. The chance of him being able to hold him out for that long, it's just not there for now. So maybe Alliance just wait out the Aegis again. But is that then going to be way too long? Because then, you know, Satanic's up and you're probably going into your next item over on the gyro.
Also, as we're progressing more and more into late game, I think Alliance loses a lot of their previous tankiness. Like, I think 10 minutes ago, they were having trouble killing the tree with their like spells and whatnot. Now, 2 or 3 right clicks, he's just straight up dying. So I think Alliance, with their tanky frames, especially that blur, the blur for Loda is just not doing a thing anymore.
Yeah.
So I think their supports need to pick up a lot in terms of survivability or farm, and I just don't think they're catching up with the rest of net worth. They're kind of reminding me of Game 2, where Envy had a lot of farm and the rest of his team didn't comparatively have as much. I think same thing in this case here.
Yeah, but Alliance are in the same boat, right? Like PA, Tidehunter have about the same farm.
No, that's what I mean for Alliance.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The rest just don't have enough.
Yeah. With that being said, I think having a lot of farm on your Prophet is really good because he's not really like a Tinker because he can actually kill your base.
Yes.
Tinker can't really kill the base. But there's going to be some aggression coming out here from Cloud9.
C9 just got a BKB on Mirana as well as the full Satanic finished over on the gyro. They want to fight now. They'll force out the lane and look at him go again. Like Admiral Bulldog even just said, screw this. You can have the tier 2 tower. I'm going to push bottom lane, sparkle up a tree on the bottom lane and hope to, like, anything, any god you can find. But there's enough momentum to make C9 fall back. But S4, Orchid's on him. The BKB, still there for Eternal Envy. He's glowing, but not with the BKB charge. They take the tier 2 tower. But do they fall back? Do they try and force the issue here? And the answer is going to be fall back. Bone 7's coming back to defend the bottom tower.
I mean, you take a small victory, right? It's not the end of the world if you don't go high ground right now. I mean, Gyro is still a pretty menacing 6-slotted hero, especially when you're talking about trying to defend the base, because when he pops Flat Cannon, pretty much every single hero has to stand farther than 1,000 range, or you're just going to get obliterated. We saw how fast this Treant dies. Like, EGM takes, what, 3 or 4 hits?
Yep. And
he's just done. So with the Satanic being finished on Envy, also having the Aegis, I'm sure that if they want to, they can maybe clean up the last of these tier 2s, look to assume the full map control. And they're being very diligent about keeping their lanes pushed. Like, sure, bottom is a little bit pushed in, but middle is about equal, and so is top. So it's not like they're always having to TP back and say, oh yeah, Bulldog's pushing in every single lane.
If you're actually just watching Bulldog, then he's setting up for a trap on the top lane. He was hoping that Wisp and Gyro would just come out just far enough. But again, they could look for that, like, they looked for this thing like 20 minutes ago. The Blink Hex, the Blink Ravage with Shiva's Guard now also on toe. I'm not sure whether, Andy, you agree with me, but I feel like they basically have to initiate and kill MV in one go. Because without that, you're not going to win the team fight. Well, they're coming out.
Yeah.
They saw EGM running out of here. Invoker may not be able to catch up to him. They may actually find Tidehunter a little bit higher up. No, EGM. Orchid, Tornado, drop him down into the Cold Snap. Force up on top of the high ground. They can't reach him there, but they'll see S4 a little bit higher up too. The call down EGM. He's just going to TP out. Nope, there's disruption. They stun him up again. 2 poison stacks, and he's going to die. 4-star can't push him down again. While up on top lane, Bone7 right behind Admiral Bulldog now with Pylai die. They put down the ice wall, slowing him down. He's used the Hex on Bone7, just trying to slow down the damage on him, and in comes Loader, him through the rear. Eternal Envy's also here, but it's just sending him back with the Chen. So he had no risk there, but Admiral Bulldog will die in the trees. And the tier 2 tower will be taken by Cloud9. They are battling the backdoor regeneration, but even this lamp has enough damage they can get through that.
I mean, to be honest, it's looking a little bit grim right now for Alliance. Sure, that base is actually exposed, but Bulldog does not want to buy back right now. That's the thing. Like, you really don't want to have to buy back on Prophet, because that means when you do, all it takes is one more death, and then Cloud9 maybe look to take a Rax. So you hold your buyback for now. You say, okay, there's 2 lanes actually pushed relatively well for us. Heck, even the top lane that Cloud9 were pushing into, they didn't even do much damage to the tower because the backdoor regen ended up being a little bit too much for them to handle. So all in all, it was basically just a Prophet kill, and the Aegis is still ticking down.
At the same time, though, as the game drags on, Cloud9 3 MKB to counter Loda. The 3 BKB should counter S4. I mean, I feel like a lot of these heroes are slowly being phased out because they're just not being able to keep up with what Cloud9's got in terms of gear. Shadow Demon getting a Ghost Scepter to protect himself, and Wisp seems like he's going for a BKB as well. Where's the item coming out from Alliance? They haven't won a fight in a long time. These outer towers are all taken down, so there's no like surplus of gold they could take from somewhere from the map.
The thing is, Alliance are just holding on to all their gold. Like right now, as far as 3,500, there's 5,300 on Nature's Prophet, and Loda has 3K. So it's not like they don't have the money, they're just all saving for buybacks.
Okay, so the fear factor is just keeping them...
Yeah, I think it's definitely the right call, because one fight outside of your base, if you buy an item and you end up dying because you get picked off, or maybe the fight just doesn't go favorably for you, that can just be the end of the game.
At the same time, without the item, you might get picked off. Like, I was wondering if Admiral Bulldog decide what he's building in here. He can't. Like, he started a BKB, but he was also looking at a Chrysalis, but like BKB is almost like the thing which he kind of needs to get. I'm wondering if there's now indecision with Alliance. Like, what are you going to buy? S4, what do you buy? Are you now buying like an Assault Cuirass and going that path? Like, do you try and bring in a Scythe Device? What's the important thing here? And it's going to be actually it's either a Daedalus or a Monkey King Bar coming out from Nature's Prophet now. Maybe he's worried that, yeah, he is. They can see Eternal Envy. He's going in for Butterfly as his final item now that the Aegis Immortal is wound down. And then Envy will be fully 6-slotted.
So I like the idea of going MKB just because, you know, Butterfly is the obvious choice, right? I think this is one of the only builds on a hero that we see almost never change. On Gyrocopter, sure, maybe change Math out for a Envy or something.
The Prophet always going to hit Pilot Eye as well as Envy coming in. Tornado will fly out. They're just going to find the Chen army, and they're going to mop up that Chen army as well. Just 2 of the 3 creeps got to go down, or maybe not. Dark Troll Summoner lives to fight another day. Well, RKT beats himself off that bottom lane.
Loda actually does buy his Abyssal Blade.
Yeah, I think this is like, I don't want to say the final tier of items, but at this point and on, sure, Alliance hero could get more and more items, but Cloud9 heroes will get better items. So I think with this Abyssal Blade, you take a fight, you throw everything on Envy. Sure, there's disruption, there's defensive relocate. It's a tough fight, but you gotta lock him down. And also, we're getting to a stage where Mermana, as well as the right clicks from Invoker, cannot be ignored anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's been that way for a while, to be honest, because Orchid MKB is already plenty of damage on Bone7. That's not including what kind of control he gives with the EMP and the Tornado. And he can just throw out an Alacrity on somebody, and with Max Wex, you're going to be attacking extremely fast. So I feel like Cloud9's team uses the gold a tiny bit better, but we also have to keep in mind, the very, very long games, by the way, Aoi is like living life on the edge bottom. I mean, like, that's about as close as you get to being dead without anyone knowing you're there. But as far as the item progression goes and how the dynamic of the game is going to change, is these BKBs are still very long on Cloud9. We don't know how long the game's going to last, and we don't know how many more fights we're going to see. So normally it would be like, okay, well, Tidehunter's going to get better because the BKBs are going to get shorter. But everybody actually has so much farm that the BKB uses, unless they're baited out very well, are all going to be massive fights with huge implications.
Yes.
So you're never going to get to like a 4-second BKB.
I mean, there's another way to look at it. If Ravage gets like 2 or 3, and PA has enough damage to like blink one shot a hero and then move on to the next, I could see the fight going for Alliance, especially how well they've been taking these fights. But I mean, Chen just like moving a pile of useless creeps around at this point. It feels useless. I guess the Dark Troll Summoner is pretty good for the ability to actually lock down a BKB unit, but aside from that, the rest are just providing some like small auras. Just for example, why like Chen, for example, is just not relevant anymore.
I don't know if they just managed to spot that one out. There was an observer board in the middle lane that was watching the courier fly out some extra items. Like the gem was purchased up, and that's what I started checking for. But that's a full refresher now done for S4, and the courier was able to spot out the recipe as well as the orchid on it.
Okay,
and then
so
the wall was able to spot the courier having that. So C9 may be aware of this. It's a very slim chance, but I'm just going to point out the fact, like, it's possible they could see that.
So what I said about the whole Ravage and then just go for the PA stuff.
this is it.
This is it. Like you could do it twice, and you almost just have to go in and just double it up, no matter who you hit, how many you hit, or how few you hit. I mean, it just takes one Wisp to relocate a target. It takes one defensive disruption. It takes an EMP tornado just to shut things down. It's fighting against a lot, but Alliance has what it takes to go for it.
I think they feel the same, man. They're all walking up top here, feeling fairly confident about their chances. The important thing is, I think you actually have to hit the Shadow Demon and one other important hero, like a core, right?
Yeah.
Because, sure, the Wisp might be able to relocate, but it's very hard to time it so fast that you're actually going to save the hero before it just explodes. I mean, we are 50 minutes in.
Gyro's out a long way right now, and they're going to jump in. There's a Hex over on Envy. They need support. There's the tether. Where's the relocate to pull him back out again? Secondary Ravage. They're going to actually stop it. Ow, he's in a lot of trouble, but they haven't killed him off. Satanic has popped. Envy with the flat cannon, finding the damage as 4. He's down from the count. They're finding more kills, though. 3 heroes from C9 dropping, and look at Lurda. Kuda growling out the back, Eden for Envy as well. There might be a full team wipe against him. Envy, the call down to protect him. Lurda, he wants to go again. Phantom Strike in, and there's Bulldog. Triple kill in for Nature's Prophet. You said it before, man. Fights with consequences, and that's it. The entire team wipe with only S4 lost. The top racks will be forfeit, and mid racks being taken by Admiral Bulldog. They're going to get a double raxing, maybe even time for a triple raxing.
It's going to be Megas. No one has buyback. The only people who are going to be alive in time to see the last Raxus fall are going to be Wisp and Shadow Demon. Those heroes cannot defend against the entirety of Alliance. I don't know what happened to the relocate on the Wisp, but it was used. It just didn't take him anywhere.
Whenever you get stunned during the usage of that relocate,
it was
breaks.
a Ravage.
Yeah, just small.
It was a Ravage.
Yeah. Like, that was Rex City population C9. Everybody just died. Shadow Demon tried to get in. He died as well, and it was just a meltdown. Now,
so that's GG.
Yeah, well, they're not calling it. They have Gyrocopter. If they could defend for 40 seconds, get to a Divine Rapier, it's a long shot. But Alliance, that was a long shot for them.
They didn't have space for it. They had to sell the phase, which put a Rapier on him. But right now, the Tier 4 towers are being pressured down. Gyro is still 26 seconds away from being alive. It's too long, man. They don't have any firepower.
They have to hold 4v5. There's no 2 more Ravage, so essentially, here comes
Abyssal.
Disrupt. Relocate. It's going to come out. He's going to heal him. Meanwhile, we have right clicks coming out from Bone 7. He's killing everybody. Envy's back soon. The Overgrowth's going to come down. Double PKP gets activated. The base is getting blown up. The relocate back out. He's okay. Bulldog's alive. And then, they're held the base. He's got gold.
Sing, where are you going? He's coming out for RK. He's trying to solo this one. Prophet's on the way in. S4. They're on the way out. The Sunstrike was looking for one. Sing goes down. The Mirana. At least they do have the Gyrocopter up and running. Envy, he's actually, funnily enough, getting to that Rapier may not be so hard. After the amount of creep waves that were in that base, he was able to clean them up with a flag cannon. Then he's up to a point of having 3.1k gold. Cloud9, they are up against Super Seismic, full-on mega creeps. The question is it going to be enough for the next team fight? Will Mirana even be back up by then? Anderson, Aegis, Cheese are going to be fighting up against.
Unfortunately, I don't think he'll make it to Divine before double Ravage is back
He sells his MKB, I think.
Holy shit.
Face for at least. There he is, he does. It's Rapier, boys.
There we go.
All right.
Evasion is gone.
Well, Roshan's going to matter a huge shield. They're going to have to give it away. They have to defend their base. I think he had to sell it because if he waits to farm it up, he would not have enough time to get to Divine.
Yeah, no, it's okay. I thought he would sell the MKB. Because the butterfly gives him very much
He needs a blur against PA.
No, but you don't have to hit the PA.
Oh, sure, fair enough.
Right now, it's still just Prophet and Ty.
Okay, again, it's up to Pylai to defensive relocate him out. It's up to his BKB activation. It's up to a defensive disruption. He needs that, or else double Ravage and like 2 hits from PA will just get him dead.
If anyone from C9, no, even if they can do that, like you're still battling up against 9 heroes from Alliance.
But you saw last time when Envy survived and he ticked on his Satanic,
True.
his
That's
AB
very
shot
true.
back up, and this time he'll just kill everybody. Oh, that's
Prophet,
huge.
Double Wrath of Nature, double Scythe of Vice.
It's a double scythe. The double scythe will lock him down so big. I mean,
Anyway, he just used it. wait, he's switching it on
Wow.
the Courier. He's using Refresher Orb on the Courier to actually spam the Wrath of Nature to back Cloud9 into the corner. And
don't
then he
think-
grabs his item again.
I don't think that actually matters.
No, he's buying his own flying Courier. Admiral Bulldog is so pimp, he's got his own ride. We've also got PA about to finish up an Assault Cure Us.
I'm surprised he just doesn't switch out his treads. One of the few heroes that could just like, yeah, screw the brutes.
You don't need
He
movement
could
speed.
go Satanic as well. I think with Satanic, he actually becomes almost unkillable right now. Just because, like,
I just love it. Own personal donkey Courier. Sorry, I was enjoying it.
no, that's cool. I'm just like wondering, like, Cloud9's only chance basically is to defend Alliance when they go in all 5,
Kill them all,
kill them,
and then go the other way.
and then kill them again, because they're all going to have buyout. So you actually have to kill their entire team 2 times in a row against Mega Creeps, just to defend your base. Yeah, I mean, Aegis and Cheese, too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a lot that needs to happen for Cloud9 to come back.
Alliance, they're going to try this. They're coming in through bottom. Now, there's Observer Wards, but there's no sentries. Obviously, that won't help you with smoke anyway. But the person on the front lines is Sing Sing. He's the closest one. Alliance is staring him down. Sing Sing, there's a jump in. Ravage 1, Refresher Orb. Waiting for Ravage 2. Holding it for now. Owie goes in, will protect him, but not long enough. They've lost 3. Buyback from the SE. Envy, Abyssal Blaze. He'll break free of it. Now, doesn't have Flat Cannon. Try and battle up against Loader. Turns on the Satanic, but they just back it up. They give themselves some space while Bulldog, he's just attacking the fortress. They want this over. They want a 1-game advantage here in the grand final of DreamLeague, and they're probably going to get a Ravage too. There she goes. Envy is GG. 54-33. The game is good. The game is gold, and the game is Rapier.
What a game from Alliance, man. You come out of that lane transition, you get to the mid game, you start applying pressure, you take some really good fights. The biggest play of the game, though, was S4 when his Ravage hit mid-relocate, and Pylai Dai couldn't get the gyrocopter back inside of the base fast enough to actually live, because that was the shot. That was probably one of the only times they were going to be able to get that
That
close
was
to
the
the base.
only time, because after that, double Ravage would have been blown, and they would have been going the other way.
So once again, huge congratulations to Alliance. They go up 1 game in the best of 5 series. It's now 2-1 in their favor. I don't know, man. Like, that game to me was probably the best game of the series so far, just in terms of how even it was at some point, and just small things making the biggest difference.
I can't agree more, but we'll see what Shane and James have to say. Let's take it back to the desk. Guys.
Yeah, we got some happy Alliance down there. Shane, for you, what was the big storylines?
It was all about S4. Like, basically, they struggled. Everyone else struggled, and S4 completely carried them through the mid game. He allowed like Loader to get all these items that he was miles away from. It was all S4.
Yeah, I mean, I was just really surprised they won. I mean, Eternal Envy, like perfect positioning the whole game. I mean, when did you ever see him get picked off?
Yeah.
He was farming like the
no,
bot.
wait, no, no, he sucked.
Yeah. I kind of figured that was coming.
No, like the way that he played, though.
Yeah, but like, it's fine going your MKB, right? But you go your MKB and you're like, okay, you go your MKB because you just accelerate your net worth and you get into that BKB. But then that chase into tier 2 tower on Radiant's side, where they just turned on him, it's like, what are you doing? And it was so smart of Alliance to go 4 staffs. It was like the best item you can pick versus their lineup, because it's like they need to hit cooldown and they need to get on top of you to be able to do damage. And being able to 4 staff your team away, you just kind of bring the fight back. And then that's what S4 wanted, like bring the fight to us, perfect timing, blink in and blow them up. And S4, yeah, like, I don't know, Admiral Bulldog and S4 have like really been a contender for MVP of the whole tournament thus far.
Yeah.
Both of them have played absolutely amazing, but there was a lot of weight on S4. His mid-game performance, his Ravages, there was a huge amount of weight on it, and he performed brilliantly. This guy under pressure when it comes to timing, it's like none other. He's amazing.
Yeah, I think the biggest points for me, all the Ravages were totally on point, especially the one bottom where they like relocated in, but they were quite a bit of ways away from the rest of their team, right? And then Envy just continues to chase with BKB on, and I'm like, you actually can't chase this.
Yeah, like why? What are you doing?
Yeah, I feel like maybe it was either a lack of vision or maybe they just thought that they were a bit stronger than they were, but ended up just like Ravages kind of won them the game. So
yeah, the Ravages were good. So congratulations to Alliance. They're going to bring it to a 2-1 and go to match point in the grand finals here at the ASUS ROG Nordic. I won't say I said Nordic there. Nordic, yeah, it's kind of similar. We're going to go to a commercial break so we can get a well-deserved break for the casters. And when we come back, we'll be going into the next game where we could have a champion after it if Alliance take it. See you in just a moment.